Art has surrounded me for as long as I can remember. Character design, digital illustrations, landscape art, you name it. I've spent years admiring it and collecting it and being inspired by it. From original pieces of art to film stills and photography, it's always been everywhere in my life pretty much. And then I realized that I've never actually made anything along these lines. Not in a serious way, anyways. This year, I really want to change that. I'm starting this journey of digital illustration from scratch, and I'm bringing you guys along for a very messy, very frustrating, and hopefully awesome moment. If this is your first time stumbling upon this channel, my name is Miguel. I'm a filmmaker and photographer based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And this year, I really want to focus on this world of illustration. I actually take a lot of inspiration from all the prints that I found around me, from various artists to typography, color theory, all these things that are outside my medium somehow relate into the work that I do, whether it's for clients, for YouTube, or like other personal things. Equally as long, I've told myself along the way that I should probably learn how to do these things, how to draw, how to illustrate, how to shape, how to shade, how to light. I can do it in the real world with photos and videos, but transferring it over on paper is always very, very difficult for me. And it's a part of the craft that I really want to enjoy and I really want to get really, really good at and make some original work of my own. So this year, in this video, I'm telling you how I'm going to do it and sort of like a commitment to myself and also bringing you guys in to follow this journey that I'm in. Now, I've been using iPads for the longer period of my life, and whether it was using it as a second monitor, like drawing on Procreate as like fun and just using it as like a multimedia thing, it was never felt to me like a drawing first experience. It was almost like a tool that kind of like did it all. The pen and the screen never really felt really unique to me, so I feel like maybe that was part of the fact that I was never attracted to like draw digitally, even though Procreate is a really great app. So the first thing that I was trying to figure out was what's a nice tablet that has a really good drawing experience, that has a nice span, has great software for me to be able to grow into as a beginner and as a professional. And I landed on the Moving Pad 14 Pro by Wacom. Wacom has been, generally making awesome products for digital artists for years, for as long as I can remember. My sister's a graphic design, she's a digital illustrator, and she's been using Wacom products for as long as I've known. So it was only normal for me to kind of just go with what I know works. I know there's a ton of other products out there, and I'm not saying like these other products don't work. I'm just very personally familiar with the Wacom tablets and products. So I went and invested in one of these tablets. Now, I said I've used Procreate in the past, and I want to say I'm pretty familiar with drawing softwares as a whole, brushes, layers, things like that. I've worked with Photoshop and Illustrator before, so I know how those things kind of work. I have a pretty good idea on like composition and lighting. Like I said, I'm just really struggling to bring that to the paper, and then like my muscle on drawing lines and line art and like composition is still pretty bad, I would say. So the software that I'm going to be using to do this entire journey is going to be on Clip Studio, just because the Moving Pad is an Android device and it doesn't have a lot of like the really great things like the iPad OS has for like its app stores. But Clip Studio has absolutely everything that I need. It comes with like a free subscription when you purchase a tablet, so it's going to be really awesome to kind of just test run it for a couple months before I actually have to start paying. But I've also already purchased some classes that I saw from artists that I've been following for a really long time. I got two, one on just like how to draw digitally as a whole, and then the second one's more on like portraits and anatomy and like shading and the different layers and things that kind of go into that. So I am going to sort of like start making portraits and stuff like that, start to like train my eye. I already have a ton of ideas, and I've actually tried to implement a lot of those like before going into those courses to see if I could replicate what's in my mind, and they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. I think what's going to give me an edge is that the fact that I'm already really good at understanding the fundamentals of like the lights and stuff like that because of my background in film. So I feel like that's going to give me an edge. But I also want to learn from books and intake different types of arts, different types of mediums, from comics to manga to animation, to realism to more abstract things, and then obviously like find my own way along the journey as I sort of like discover like what my style actually is. Now here's what I'm actually working towards. At the end of the day, yes, I want to get good at illustrating and I really want to go into the art of it, and I just want to make stuff that I'm really proud of. But the way that I'm going to measure this, sort of like a challenge, and I'm putting it out into the internet for people to sort of like keep me accountable, whether it's at the end of the year or sometime in the spring next year, giving me enough time to kind of grow in the craft, learn these fundamentals, and get really comfortable with what I'm looking to create, whatever that kind of looks like, is to, at the end of that, join an art fair or an art gallery of some sorts to, yes, be able to sell prints and create stuff like that. The end goal is not to make money out of this, is to just be comfortable and be happy with the things that I'm able to make. And if people find joy in them and they find them really cool enough to purchase, then that's just an added bonus. I do want to, whatever I make out of this, whether it's on YouTube or doing the art stuff, I do want to donate all the proceeds for the art fair and stuff like that to organizations or non-for-profits that are focusing on helping youth invest into their journey with art, or giving them resources to enjoy and explore what art can do for them, because it's been a part of my journey since I grew up. Like I said, my sister's been an illustrator. My mom has done her stuff with her fashion and design and her alterations business. And then obviously my dad, I learned everything from camera work and lighting and stuff like that from my dad. So I really want to grow into this to make me a deeper, better, more aware artist, I would say, aware for myself, and just like be able to appreciate the work that goes into these awesome pieces of work that are all over, from traditional on paper or canvas and oils to digital illustration and work, and like what that kind of looks like. And like I said, I really enjoy talking to the artists. I follow a ton of them. I can really appreciate all the work that goes into it, and I've seen some crazy stuff. And I'll just continue to collect and hang up and appreciate it and get inspiration from a lot of these things. I have a ton of books that I get a lot of inspiration from, like whether it's like video game stuff, traditional stuff, original art, concept art, landscapes, even like whether it's photography or illustration, it doesn't really matter. I'm just really inspired by just surrounding myself with art. So I hope to maybe create something along those lines. And I know I've been making a lot of videos on stationary stuff, and that's not going to stop or go anywhere. I have a couple of videos in the works that I'm going to release, but maybe I can also sort of like do like a full circle moment and bring this illustration journey that I'm embarking in and sort of like bring it back into stationery and stuff like that. Obviously, like I'm big on stickers and washi tapes and stuff like that, making prints that you can kind of like carry with you. So maybe at the end of this journey or along the way, I create a concept or a piece of art that would be really cool to make into prints and do some giveaways and things like that. And I think it'd be really cool to kind of just have something that I've created from my ideas or my head or wherever it is, and be able to carry around and showcase it, create wallpapers, create my own prints and arts. And I think that's really cool. Like that's definitely a goal of mine. And if I can accomplish that, I'll be really happy with myself as an artist, and we'll see where that takes me. So I definitely want to do a full circle moment, bring it back into stationery and things like that. But I'm not turning into an art channel or anything like that. But I am very artsy. So we'll see where this goes. And if you've been on this journey, if you something similar that I've done, or if you're already like a pretty well-established illustrator or graphic designer, I would love to know in the comments like what your journey was like. What are some tips that you have for me, whether it's like Clip Studio or just like art as a whole, and just like really interested on learning more about you and your journey and how that's been and where you're at and like what kind of things are you doing. We'd love to check out your work. If you're just drawing for a hobby as well, like I would love to see what you're making. kind of just showcase and share between all of us and sort of like build a little tiny community and see where that takes us. And this is the beginning of pretty much this. So I wanted to make this video. I don't know how long this journey is going to take. I don't know how rough the first sketches are going to be, but I just know I want to do it here. I want to do it for myself, and I want to do it with you guys. So here's to trying new things and, you know, being a beginner for the very first time on something that you have no idea what you're doing. So I invite you to keep watching these videos. If this kind of resonated with you, definitely subscribe and leave me a like if you're down to follow this journey. If you love illustration and art as much as me, leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.